Chelsea and Porto, so Chelsea still lead 2-0 on aggregate. It's been a tough half to watch at times, with Porto seeing a lot of the ball but unable really to trouble Chelsea, save for getting the ball to the edge of the area. A couple of half chances. Cesar Corona had an effort which went over the bar. He also had a gift when Edouard Mendy just rolled the ball to him, but he couldn't get his shots on target. Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary. It's the game at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Chelsea taking on Porto. Chelsea nearly 2-0 on aggregate, 0-0 at the start of the second half in this game. And we're going to get our first booking of the game inside the first 15 seconds of the second half, as Chelsea looking to try and get forward. And referee Clement Turpin, who actually let a few things go in the first half. He's straight away on the offensive there with the yellow card. I'm not sure that Sergio Oliveira can have too many complaints about that one. He just took away the legs of Christian Pulisic there, tripped him up, and the ball was there to be won. He was quite a lot. He was late. There wasn't that much contact, but the intent was there. He didn't try to stop himself from colliding with Pulisic there. So Chelsea take a quick free kick towards the edge of the area, headed away by Wilson Manafa. The ball now back on the halfway line, played towards Rudiger, picked up by Thiago Silva. Goes towards Christian Pulisic, as Chelsea looking to try a move down the right-hand side. Pulisic gets it to N'Golo Kante, and he rolls it back all the way towards Thiago Silva. Just to remind you of the two sides, no changes at half-time. Edouard Mendy is in goal for Chelsea, with the back three of Cesar Azpilicueta, Thiago Silva and Antonio Rudiger. Four across the middle of Reece James, N'Golo Kante, Jorginho and Ben Chilwell, with Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic and Kai Havertz as the attacking three. For Porto, Marche is in goal, with the back four of Wilson Manafa, Chancel Mbemba, Pepe and Zaidu Sanusi. The three in midfield are Marco Grujic, Oliveira, with Jesus Corona, Otavio and Musa Marega as the attacking three. It is Porto in possession down the right-hand side, and good ball played by Jesus Corona towards the edge of the area. Ball is now blocked by Antonio Rudiger, and it's over on the left-hand side with Ben Chilwell, up to Kai Havertz, back to Jorginho down the left-hand side, headed out of play by Manafa. It's going to be a throw to Chelsea. Chance to try and start something maybe down the left-hand side. It's Ben Chilwell with the ball, just waiting to restart play. And it goes towards Kante. I do hope that this second half is played at a slightly better pace. But having said that, but it's not in Chelsea's interest for the game to be quickly. They want things to be slow. They want things to be difficult for Porto to try and generate some kind of attacking possession. So in the neutral, it might be a little bit difficult at times, but it's what Chelsea need to do. And since Thomas Tuchel's arrived, that's something you have to say very much in his credit, that Chelsea have been a much more difficult side to beat. And as I say, sometimes the attacking flair has gone a little bit with that, but the other side of the coin is that Chelsea have had one defeat in the 3 months now, nearly 3-4 months that Tuchel has had in charge. And you have to say that that's one defeat against West Brom as well. It was a bit of a freak result, although you have to give credit to West Brom for the way they came back, having conceded first in that game at Stamford Bridge just over a week ago. Meanwhile, the ball is now cleared towards the halfway line, and it is with Pepe down the left-hand side, under pressure from Christian Pulisic. Pepe going all the way back towards his goalkeeper. Marche thought about playing it to Mbemba, but too many Chelsea players in that Porto half. Goes over towards Pepe. And now once again the ball played back towards the goalkeeper, this time Otavio back in his half. It's with Marco Grujic. Playing it to Otavio, who plays it first time. A ball over the top, one here for Corona to chase, but Rudiger should be there first. He does get there first. He's able to play it square to Chilwell, who keeps it in play. So Chelsea avoid giving away any kind of a set piece, and also stop the counter-attack. But then Chilwell, as he tries to clear it, the ball deflects back off him, and it potentially could have been a dangerous moment there for Chelsea, but they're still able to clear their lines. Ball goes out of play. They wanted a throw, which Mason Mount's furious there. He thought it should have been a throw to Porto. Porto then also trying to get a double whammy for that throw by actually going about 15 yards further forward than it should have been. And referee Clement Turpin is wise to that, tells them to go back. The throw now taken, and the ball is now back in play inside the Porto half here with captain Pepe under pressure from Mason Mount. Ball down the right-hand side now. That's kept alive by Sergio Oliveira, going through the middle, playing it to Otavio. Otavio under pressure, back to Marco Grujic. And there's space there just in front of Otavio, out towards the right-hand side. Musa Marega playing it short now towards Wilson Manafa. At the edge of the area, ball coming in from Otavio. It's all the way to the back post, and Azpilicueta having to challenge there, although they're claiming that there could have been a foul. Perhaps no, it has gone out for a corner. And Aspilicueta and Reece James were both underneath this one. The ball actually gets away from Aspilicueta, and James was being pushed there as he heads that one. It was Reece James that got the final head to that, and gets a quick pat on the back from his captain as well. Corner kick now to Porto. The ball whipped in towards the back post. That's a strong collision there with the goalkeeper. And Edouard Mendy back on his feet, but the referee just coming across to make sure that the Chelsea goalkeeper is okay. Chancellor Mbemba, almost like he couldn't stop his jump there. He jumped straight into the goalkeeper and puts his hand up straight away to apologise. Don't think there was any malice in that from Mbemba. Maybe he was a little bit careless, but I think he did genuinely want to try and win the ball there. But Edouard Mendy just doing a bit of a stretch there now, still feeling a little bit of pain. Just as you can see there straight away, Thomas Tuchel puts his head down. He doesn't want to have any more problems in terms of injuries. In fairness, Chelsea haven't had too many problems with them this season. That's a couple of players out, but there's a strong collision there from Mbemba, and Mendy just needs a moment. I mentioned the substitutes. It's Christensen, Hudson-Odoi, Ziyech, Abraham, Zuma, Giroud, Werner, Emerson, Marcus Alonso, and two goalkeepers, Kepa and Caballero, on the bench for Chelsea this evening. I'll do the Porto bench in just a moment, but in the meantime the ball is back in play, and Porto are getting forward here as well with Sergio Otavio. He goes back towards Grujic. Now played in by Manafa towards the right-hand edge of the field, and Moussa Marega there is challenged by Antonio Rudiger. The ball goes out for a corner kick. So a good little spell this now for Porto as they try and build this pressure at the start of the second half. 52 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Chelsea 0, Porto 0. Still PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1 in the other Champions League game this evening. As here comes the outswinger towards the edge of the area, headed back across and played back in towards the box by Otavio. Cleared away, but it's still alive on the right-hand side. Chance here now for Jesus Corona to get a ball in. Good header away by Reece James. Now picked up at the edge of the area by Christian Pulisic. Plays it out to James, who already started his run down the right-hand side. He brings his man down when he gets caught in possession. And there's our fourth official, Mr. Schneider, again, that's stepping about 15 yards away from the halfway line. Just sort of keep an eye on everything there as well. I mean, there's hardly anything in it from James. He grabs Otavio by the arm, and then Otavio hits the deck and starts grabbing his thigh. So it is a little bit laughable from the Porto man. It's always going to be a free kick anyway. I don't think the referee was ever considering a yellow card, despite the committee of Porto players trying to convince him that maybe he should think about it. It's going to be a free kick now on the left-hand side to be taken by Otavio. Zanussi steps over it, then he gets a pass from Otavio. He then puts an early ball in, which is cleared away by Reece James. It's a good idea that from Porto for a bit of variety, because throughout most of the first half they were just sending straightforward crosses into the box there. They tried a little bit of variation with that short ball played down the left channel before Zanussi's cross along the ground was cleared away by James. And I think like a foul throw there from Zanussi. I thought the way he hooked that one into the box, but it reaches Marega. He tries to get a shot away, couldn't quite get the power on it. It's cleared towards the edge of the area. Grujic still keeping it alive for Porto, and then the ball is crossed in towards the back post. That's an easy save in the end for goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. Just waiting for him now. I mentioned the Porto bench. It's Claudio Ramos, Nanu, Diego Liete, Sarr, Romario Barro, Diaz, Loam, Fabio Vieira, Francisco Conceição, Evanilson, I always have trouble with that one, Taremi and Tony Martinez are on the bench for Porto this evening. But in the meantime, Chelsea have suddenly found some space down the left-hand side. It was just a ball played over the top, and now suddenly it's with Chilwell. He's on the line. He plays it back to Pulisic. What a great chance that is. And Pulisic doesn't get the right contact with the ball at all. It's cleared away. He's at the edge of the 6-yard box. He's got space to get a shot towards goal, and he misses it effectively, just sort of grazes it with his right foot. Porto were unhappy there because they felt as though there was a foul just inside their own half. Marega now gives the foul away for running into Jorginho, and you can see the Porto bench was furious that that free kick wasn't given in their favour a moment before. But we're going to see a replay of this chance now. It's Mason Mount that plays the ball on the overlap to Ben Chilwell. Chilwell gets it back to the edge of the 6-yard box. I mean, to give some sort of defence to Pulisic, the ball was a little bit higher than I first thought. It wasn't quite along the ground. It was almost at sort of shin height. Even so, even with that pass perhaps not being precise onto the foot of Christian Pulisic, I would still argue that he's more than able to do something with that. He just couldn't quite get his body into position. Free kick now to Chelsea after that foul from Marega on Jorginho, but Aspilicueta's ball towards the box is cleared away. Now it's with Wilson Manafa down the right-hand side for Porto. Being closed down by Mason Mount, and as he turns, he gets to take the ball with him, and he leaves it, loses it. It's going to be a throw to Chelsea, which Mount takes himself, gets it to Kai Havertz. Back to Mason Mount, and he goes all the way back towards the halfway line now for Antonio Rudiger and Jorginho. Rudiger down the left-hand side finds Mason Mount. Now it's with Ben Chilwell. Chilwell at the on the left-hand side under real pressure there, having to go back towards N'Golo Kante. It's with Thiago Silva. Over the top from Thiago Silva down towards Mason Mount. He gets it into Havertz. Havertz under pressure though. That's out for a throw to Chelsea down the left-hand side. He leaves this for Ben Chilwell. Well, this is certainly good news for Chelsea. A nice long spell of possession inside the Porto half. At the very least, it just takes time away from Porto, and it always gives them the chance to try and increase their lead in the tie as well. That throw has gone back to Rudiger, then flicks it forward towards Ben Chilwell. Porto have got their hand up, well, Pepe specifically had his hand up there, that Chilwell was offside. The flag never came up, but the ball's still alive here for Chelsea. It's switched out towards the right-hand side. It's good control from Reece James, goes back towards Azpilicueta. James, again, under pressure there from Zanussi. Gets it in towards Jorginho. Now to James again, trying to turn Zanussi there. I think he was after a free kick a little bit too easily there. Reece James. Zanussi then again gives the ball away too easily. He had the chance to try and pick out Marega, but the ball to Marega was under hit. Chelsea now have possession again, and they're off down the left-hand side with Ben Chilwell. Chilwell going back towards Mason Mount. Now it's with Jorginho. He plays it back to Cesar Azpilicueta on the right-hand side, being closed down by Otavio. Goes forward towards Christian Pulisic. Bit of a heavy touch from Pulisic, but he still keeps the ball alive here for Chelsea. Then he manages to get the ball away from Grujic, who brings him down. Referee plays the advantage because Kante now plays it in towards Mason Mount. His strike is charged down inside the penalty area by Wilson Manafa, and it's out for a corner kick. But that was a perfect example of an advantage, well played by the referee and well used by Chelsea, because there was a foul there on Christian Pulisic. Kante suddenly sees Mason Mount in acres of space, but you have to give credit towards Wilson Manafa for coming back and closing down Mason Mount. Could Mount have hit that shot a little earlier? Looking at that replay, possibly so, but even so, I reckon he still did pretty well to get that shot away. You have to give credit to the defender. The ball is now whipped in. It's far too close to the goalkeeper. Marche making an easy save. So just waiting until a few players at least leave the penalty area before punting this one long, but it's too long. And Kante there back on the halfway line for Chelsea. He's got it quite easy at corner kick, Kante, hasn't he? Because when his team have a corner, he stays back, and when his team are defending a corner, he tends to be the one who gets out of the penalty area, or is the furthest away from the penalty area as well. But he's proved to be useful in both attack and defence this evening in terms of how he tried to start a counter-attack for Chelsea after a corner kick in the first half, a corner kick for Porto, of course, and now we saw him covering there on the halfway, and after Porto were trying to start a quick counter themselves. It's with Kai Havertz down the left. He goes to Ben Chilwell. Gets alive here by Mason Mount, back towards Jorginho, under pressure from Sergio Oliveira, and now it's Kante who's under pressure as well, but Chelsea still keeping the ball alive, back with Thiago Silva now. And he flicks it forward towards Mason Mount. He heads it on now for Christian Pulisic. Pulisic back to Mason Mount, left-hand edge of the penalty area. Three Chelsea players waiting inside the box. It's Pulisic, Havertz and Reece James. But it's Chilwell and Mason Mount just swapping a couple of passes at the edge of the area before rolling the ball back towards Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger's ball into the box. Oh, it's headed up in the air by Zanussi, but it still drops to Reece James. He's around 30 yards out, but he was also in an offside position when that initial ball was played to him, so as soon as the header was won and the ball was then played out. Now we can see it's a little bit of after. I'm not quite sure what happened there between Reece James and Otavio, but Otavio just seems to take a bit of a swipe at Reece James there. James is only just offside, by the way, with that last chance. But I think Reece James was a bit unhappy about something that maybe Otavio had said to him. He sort of wagged his finger at Otavio and then pushed him quite hard in the chest. And as I say, if it was a boxing ring, I don't think Reece James and Otavio would be allowed in the same ring. I think the weight difference between them would just be a little bit too big. But Otavio perhaps making up for his height with a bit of feistiness there, just pushing Reece James back, saying he's not going to stand for anything like that. 49% possession for Chelsea in the match, 51 for Porto. Both sides have struggled to get anything on target in terms of efforts on goal. Still nothing on target here. Both teams with 5 efforts. All 5 have been off target, or all 10 in total have been off target. We've certainly not been starved. We've certainly not been spoiled in terms of attacking possession in this match. But there have been some moments in the second half. Chelsea just starting to turn it up a little bit in the last 5 minutes or so. We've just hit the hour mark here as well at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, and it is still goalless between Chelsea and Porto. Goalless on the night. Chelsea still 2 up on aggregate. In the other game, it is still PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1. Still very close in that game, but of course with those goals that PSG scored in the first leg, they still feel as though they're in a strong position, just to make sure that they don't allow Bayern too much time on the ball. It is now a 3-3 on aggregate in that one, but with PSG's 3 away goals, still a lot of work there for Bayern Munich to try and effect some sort of change in the tie. But still plenty of time left to go in that game, of course. About a minute ahead of us as here come Porto now, ball down the right hand side, just a bit too quick though for Wilson Manafa. He couldn't keep that in play, and he's out for a throw to Chelsea. And here goes Ben Chilwell down the left hand side, a quick 1-2 with Kai Havertz. Now played back to Kante, under pressure straight away from Otavio. He goes to Jorginho, and Jorginho then lofts the ball back towards his own penalty area, but luckily for him, Azpilicueta reacted quickly. And then as Chelsea start to move through the middle, there is an offside flag. It looks as though it might be against Kai Havertz, and that will be a free kick to Porto. So it's been a bright start in the second half, with both teams having their little spells of attacking possession. Porto certainly starting stronger in the first few minutes, getting a couple of set pieces, testing that Chelsea defence, but it was the Chelsea defence that was tested rather than the goalkeeper. Other than a couple of crosses, Edouard Mendy still not had a shot on target to save, but the same can be said of Marche at the other end. They've not had a shot on target in the game. Either side have not been able to test either goalkeeper so far. Chelsea have just had a good spell of possession themselves with a couple of chances. The best of these was for Christian Pulisic, who got a ball just at the edge of the 6-yard box from Mason Mount. It was just a little bit too high for him to get a clean shot away first time, and as a result of that, he couldn't quite get it on target, although it seemed like a good opportunity. Porto look to be making their first change at any time soon, but it's still 0-0. There was a change coming up for Porto. Just saw that substitution being readied as I was giving that update. It looks as though it could be Marko Grujic who is going to be going off. It is the big man Marko Grujic to go off here. And he is going to be replaced by the number 9, Mehdi Taremi. So Taremi is on now for the final 28 minutes of this match. So we'll see what Taremi can do here. Not going to be easy to get into this match straight away, but he's going to have to try and just well, potentially we'll see as well how he sets up here, because of course bringing on a player who is far more forward thinking than Grujic is potentially does take away an extra midfielder. Whether or not that means that there's going to be a bit more of a reshuffle across that attacking midfield line from Porto, we'll have to wait and see. But it does seem to me perhaps a little bit, I certainly wouldn't say it's too soon, because Porto have to get a goal from somewhere. They have to get 2 goals from somewhere, really, don't they? But the thing with that is that they've not really been able to keep that possession in midfield. So unless they're just going to start to play a bit more direct, try and play long ball to just try and pick out the new striker, and of course his big strike partner in Marega as well, that might be the way that Porto play. But Chelsea should be wise to that, so we'll wait to see how that develops. Chelsea themselves have got a throw now down the left-hand side, and it's picked up here by Ben Chilwell. Long throw from Chilwell down the left-hand side to find Kai Havertz. Under pressure there, Havertz from Wilson Manafa. The ball goes out of play, and it is a throw to Chelsea. It's going to be Ben Chilwell to take it now. Just looking for options, and quite a few Chelsea players coming forward for this throw as well. So you can see Jorginho waiting at the edge of the area, joining the usual suspects up front, as James waiting on the right-hand side across, put in from Ben Chilwell, but he was losing his balance as he put that ball in. It was too close to the goalkeeper. Easy for Marche. Then he sends an early ball, trying to get the new striker Mehdi Taremi straight into the game, but he's stopped there by Cesar Azpilicueta. Taremi takes the throw himself, gets it into Marega. Marega at the edge of the area, turning. Oh, as he passed that ball, he ran straight into Taremi, but then he slides in and wins the ball back. Great play there from Marega. Lays the ball off now to Zanussi. He puts a cross in, which has got far too much. It's too high, it's too long. The ball actually kept in play on the right-hand side, on the right-hand touchline here by Jesus Corona. Perhaps Chilwell could have got to that one a little bit quicker, but now Otavio puts the ball in. It's played towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Taremi with the header up. We have got our first effort on target. It was a strong header, but it was from around, I think it was even past the penalty spot when Taremi got his head to it. see from this replay exactly where he was stood. It was pretty much level with the penalty spot, so it was going to be difficult to beat the goalkeeper with a standing header from that sort of position. And it was a bouncing ball that Bendy certainly still had to save. It wasn't a gimme. He had to make sure that he got his hands to it, but it was fairly straightforward for the Chelsea goalkeeper in the end. 65 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary. Chelsea 0, Porto 0. Chelsea still leading 2-0 on aggregate. No change in the other game on the night. PSG still trailing Bayern Munich by a goal to 0 in Paris. There's a strong collision there on the halfway line. Otavio unhappy there with the decision against him. Referee just having to do some peacekeeping there, because the free kick was given for the foul on Christian Pulisic, but then Kante sort of barged into Otavio straight after the whistle, and I think the referee has had a bit of a fear in this match that there could just be a couple of situations bubbling under here. I haven't noticed any particular rivalries as such in terms of two players clashing time and again, but there have been a few sort of running battles. Otavio's had a couple of battles with Azpilicueta, with James, and with Kante as well. Ball now looped up in the air, and a header away by Pepe is out for a throw to Chelsea, which is taken by Reece James. James now waiting for options. One of them is captain Azpilicueta. Back to Reece James down the right hand side. Ball is headed away by Pepe. Second ball gets through to Kai Havertz. Strong challenge there from Zaidu Zanussi, but a clean one. Just out for a throw to Chelsea. James now on the right-hand side, looking for options. One of them is Kai Havertz. Havertz runs into the box. He used the pace of that throw, but he couldn't quite keep the ball in play, and it is out for a goal kick. So goalkeeper takes it quickly here as well. Now back towards Pepe at the edge of the area. Certainly both sides had their moments in attack, but I would say that the second half is pretty much similar to the first half, only it's probably been played at a slightly quicker pace. I think that's just a bit more urgency about what Porto are trying to do. That said, Porto have definitely had less of the ball in attack than they had in the first half as well, trying to get forward, and that in itself has resulted in Porto seeing less of the ball. But here come Porto now. Pepe stepping forward here and finding Zanussi on the left-hand side. Zanussi now going back towards Pepe, and it's with Otavio. Square now to Chancellor Mbemba. Mbemba plays it through to Marega, who seems to have taken a bit more of a wide role now that Taremi has arrived on the field. Picked up here by Sergio Oliveira, going back towards Otavio, trying to play a quick 1-2, but that one has been lost, and now Wilson Manafa tracking back. He brings down Christian Pulisic. That's going to be a free kick. Arguably it should be a booking as well, considering that he has stopped a counter-attack. Pulisic just needing a helping hand to get up. So we see there's not too much in it from Manafa, but he knows what he's doing, and I think that in that sort of situation you've come to expect a booking, really. It does seem like it was a deliberate attempt to stop the man rather than actually playing the ball. But it's now back with Jorginho on the halfway line, under pressure there from Sergio Oliveira, and in the end both players collide, but it is out for a throw. So chance now for Chelsea to try and get this ball away from their own half, with Ben Chilwell now to N'Golo Kante, back to Chilwell, headed on by Mason Mount. Kai Havertz picks the ball up, runs straight into Pepe though, and this loose ball now is with Chancellor Mbemba. He goes back towards the goalkeeper. Marche now with a long clearance up towards the halfway line. Taken down, and here is N'Golo Kante now towards Kai Havertz. Havertz playing it to Mason Mount. Mount's ball has just stopped at the edge of the area before it got through towards Christian Pulisic. Attempted turn there from Jesus Corona. It's just as he runs in, it's put out of play. Going to be a throw to Chelsea. Oh, it's going to be a throw to Porto this time, I should say. Did get a final touch off the Chelsea man. Just to remind you very quickly of the 3 scores in the Championship, but this evening it finished Huddersfield 1, Bournemouth 2, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swansea 2, and Rotherham United 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0. Rotherham are fighting for their lives at the bottom of the league. Big win for them. They've still got a couple of games in hand on the teams above them. Ball Bournemouth and Swansea with wins tonight as they're looking to try and get closer to automatic promotion. But here come Chelsea now with a ball played towards the edge of the area. He gets through to Pulisic. Pulisic tries to get it back across towards around about the penalty spot, but the ball is cleared, and now Moussa Marega back inside his own half. 3 Chelsea players around him. He's forced to go back towards Wilson Manafa. Manafa now playing it back towards Marche. Long clearance from Marche now over the top, headed on by Antonio Rudiger. And that one is out for a throw to Porto down the right-hand side. Taken quickly, but Sergio Oliveira, combination of Oliveira and Corona, lose the ball there for Porto, but Chelsea just as quickly give it away. That's a little bit sloppy there from Thomas Tuchel's side. They need to be a little bit quicker. I think it was on that occasion Pulisic just played it forward a little bit too urgently. Understand the logic in Chelsea wanting to attack and scoring and wrapping up the game even quicker, but at the same time it's important for Chelsea not to give the ball away too easily, because a goal for Porto at any time whilst it's 0-0 like this can suddenly make things that little bit more tense for Chelsea towards the end, as it is, say, no work for Edouard Mendy in terms of, well, there was one shot on target, I should get that right. There was that one effort that was headed towards goal by substitutes Mehdi Taremi. But other than that, no shots on target at all in the game. And now Taremi trying to attract the ball all the way to the line as Mendy trying to let that one go out of play, and it does go out of play. Always felt as though the Chelsea goalkeeper was in control of that particular situation. It's going to be a goal kick to be taken by Mendy. Not rushing to take this one. Chelsea not making any changes as yet. I've seen too much activity on the bench. Suggests that we're due a change anytime soon. But Thomas Tuchel certainly might be considering perhaps freshening up his midfield. Potentially, he's got, looking at that bench, he hasn't really got sort of a defensive midfielder that springs to mind straight away. It may well be that he's quite happy to keep the midfield. Potentially he's got Giroud to go up front if he wants a fresh attacker there towards the end of the game. He's got Emerson and Marcus Alonso if he wants to perhaps preserve James or Chilwell for the final quarter of an hour as well. We're at 72 minutes now, by the way, as Azpilicueta giving a free kick away there. And it's poor old Otavio that's bore the brunt of that again. Him and Azpilicueta have clashed at least 3 times this evening. Chelsea might not be making any changes, but Porto are getting ready to make a triple change themselves. And just seeing the stats, 6 shots on goal from Chelsea, none of them on target. Porto with 7 in total. One of them was on target as a short free kick is taken now towards the edge of the area. It's for Jesus Corona. He then turns and put a cross in, which just goes over the head of Taremi. But then he's able to play it back towards the right-hand side. Here is Manafa now. Manafa gets a ball in, which is slid over the bar there by Thiago Silva. Good work there from the Chelsea centre-back there as that ball was played across. Needed to be sure that he got a good touch on it because, say, he was facing his own goal, but he lifted that a long way, so there was no danger of that ever being an own goal. Here comes the free kick now from the left-hand side, aimed at the near post and headed away. It is out for a throw now. Throw to Porto down the left-hand side, so level with the edge of the Chelsea penalty area. We're going back towards Matheus Uribe. Now Sergio Oliveira. His pass is straight to Reece James though. And now it's Cesar Azpilicueta who clears the ball towards the halfway line. Taken down by Pepe. They're now playing it short towards Jesus Corona. And now there's going to be a nailed-on yellow card for Jesus Corona. Just as Jorginho was trying to get away from him, Corona grabs him by the shirt and pulls him back. So even though there are a couple of Porto players trying to protest on behalf of their player, they're wasting their time. That kind of foul is always going to get a booking because there's literally no attempt to play the ball. He's trying to basically pull the shirt off Jorginho's back, and it's an easy decision for the referee. Looking for Jesus Corona. I mentioned there was a triple change being readied by Porto. It looks like they're ready to make that change now. The first of these is Wilson Manafa. Yeah, he's off the field. The right back had a good game at right back as well. I thought Wilson Manafa, and Nanu is on to replace him. We're also seeing Moussa Marega, the big man up front. He's off the field as well now for the last 15 minutes, and it's Evanilson who's now coming on to replace him. So Evanilson is on up front, and the man who just received the yellow card is off as well. Jesus Corona is off, and Luis Diaz comes on to replace him. So Luis Diaz is on for the final 15 minutes as well. That's 4 changes now made by Sergio Conceição. He's still got 1 more if needs be. Chelsea have still got their full allocation of 5 if they need them. But he's been pleased with what he's seen so far, Thomas Tuchel. Not been any movements on the bench so far. Chelsea have got the ball up the field in the meantime. And they've just gone out for a corner kick. There was a quick challenge there from Mbemba to put that out of play. Zanussi was across there as well. It is out for a corner. Zanussi that got the final touch on that, and Mason Mount is across to take this corner kick now for Chelsea. Good opportunity now from the set piece. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger from Mason Mount. Everyone waiting inside the box. The ball played across the 6-yard box, and Havertz was close to it, but he couldn't direct anything towards goal. As Rudiger tries to win the ball back for Chelsea, wasn't able to do it. Sergio Oliveira with the throw now for Porto to Pepe. On clearance from Pepe now down the left-hand side. First touch of the ball here for substitute Luis Diaz. Good challenge there though from Reece James to put the ball out of play. Ball does come off James, although Chelsea were appealing for the throw themselves. And Luis Diaz takes the throw himself. Referee is wise to the fact that Porto are trying to steal a few yards though. Sometimes make the point in commentary that it's probably the easiest thing to get away with in terms of an offence on the football field these days is where the throw-on's supposed to be taken from. You can sometimes get 15 or 20 yards away, and the officials, well, maybe I'm exaggerating there, but you do see it with 10 yards easily, players just getting away with it, and sometimes, of course, doesn't make too much of a difference, but it's those occasions when players do really try and push it that referees do have to be aware. As Porto now moving the play over towards the right-hand side. Another first touch for a substitute, and is Nanu, who's gone into play at right back. His cross is cleared away, but it goes straight back to Nanu. Plays it short now to Sergio Oliveira. 2 players clash, and it's gone the way of Chelsea after that collision. Oliveira and Christian Pulisic. Well, he's certainly been through the wars this evening, Christian Pulisic. If Otavio has been the most fouled man for Porto, then I think Pulisic has been the most fouled man for Chelsea. Another strong challenge there. As, Thomas Tuchel, he's showing his signs of frustration there, but is that frustration at the fouls and the way the game's going, or is that frustration at that last bit of play from Chelsea? Because they probably had a chance to clear their lines a little bit quicker there. Long ball now played towards the edge of the Porto penalty area. It was half a chance there for Kai Havertz, but the ball does reach the goalkeeper Marche. And here come Porto now playing through the middle. That potentially could be a, I was going to say there could be a booking there for Mason Mount, just pushed over Sergio Oliveira, but referee just deciding a free kick was enough. Oliveira now moving forward towards the right-hand side. A bit of space here for Nanu. Gets to the edge of the area, now plays it back to Otavio. Otavio's ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box, just a little bit too high for Taremi. Ball still with Porto. We're on the left-hand side, specifically with Zanussi. His cross deflects off Reece James, and Porto now have a corner. Chance now from the set piece for Porto. Still no change in the Parc des Princes. It's still PSG 0, Bayern Munich 1 on the night. 3-3 on aggregate. PSG, as it stands, go through on away goals as the ball is whipped in towards the 6-yard box. Both teams with their hand up saying it should be ours after it goes out of play. Referee agrees with Porto that it should be another corner. There was a good leap there inside the penalty area from Chancel Mbemba. He went for the ball there, Mbemba, but couldn't quite get it on target. It was actually, as he was going for it, was actually beaten in the air by Antonio Rudiger. That's why it's absolutely right, the decision that it should now be a corner kick. And, it is going to be an outswinger from that right-hand side. Ball headed up in the air, and it's now out for another corner. And, Rudiger just waiting for his teammates to get back as this corner kick is going to be taken. So trying to put a bit of pressure on here as it's another outswinger. Once again, Rudiger with a 3rd time that he wins the ball in the air. This time it could have gone a bit wrong for Chelsea, because Rudiger then headed that ball into an opposition player before it bounced back towards Edouard Mendy. Might have actually come off the arm of Mateus Uribe as well. Just still got to see here, because there was a Chelsea man down. It was Thiago Silva that's down. Porto a little bit unhappy that Edouard Mendy kicked the ball out straight away, but that's what you'd expect to do if he sees an injured player down, particularly if it's one of his own players. So it's no surprise that the Chelsea goalkeeper did what he did. And It's going to take a little bit longer now for him to be checked over. Thiago's still in a little bit of pain there as he's down on the ground. So we're just over 10 minutes to go. It is still goalless at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan between Chelsea and Porto. Porto have now made 4 changes as well, with Nanu, Diaz, Taremi and Evanilson coming on for Marega, Grujic, Corona and Manafa. Chelsea have not made any changes as yet. Chelsea have been accomplished in this second half at times. I think they've been a little bit sloppy in terms of allowing Porto perhaps a little bit too much possession in midfield, but in fairness, Porto haven't been able to use it too much. They've just had 3 corner kicks in a row, and the most dangerous of these was a deflected header, which was still easy for Mendy to deal with. At the other end, Chelsea have had a couple of half chances. They are getting ready to make a couple of changes now as well, with Zuma and Ziyech getting ready to come on, but it's still 0-0 on the night, and Chelsea still need 2-0 on aggregate. As mentioned there, Zuma and Ziyech getting ready to come on here for Thomas Tuchel's men. We'll see them in just a moment, as it's now out for a throw. As we can see now, it was a little bit comical there, really. I think, well, we'll see what Porto do here. Porto should give the ball back to Chelsea. I'm a little bit disappointed here that the Portuguese side haven't done that, and it's just going to roll out for a goal kick here. But I think that Chelsea are well within their rights just to have a bit of a go at some of the Porto players there, just because it's a tense situation in the Champions League game. The usual rules still apply. It was Edouard Mendy that booted the ball out of play because there was a player down injured, and it was a bit disappointing that Porto were just playing in open play there as if nothing had happened. And say if a goal had been scored from that, then things could have got very feisty here on the field. But in the end, it wasn't to be. The ball went out of play for a goal kick, and Chelsea now back in possession with goalkeeper Edouard Mendy. 81 minutes gone. Independent off-tube studio commentary, goalless between Chelsea and Porto on the night. Clearance now from Mendy, drops to N'Golo Kante. He then plays the ball down the right-hand side as Christian Pulisic goes down. He was fouled by Pepe. Sarcastic round of applause there from the Portuguese. As if Pulisic did exactly the same thing to Pepe, knowing what he likes to do sometimes when he's been fouled, he certainly would have made sure that the referee was aware of that. But it's a booking for Pepe as well. That's deserved. That's absolutely deserved. The foul itself didn't deserve it, but it's the sarcastic round of applause towards the linesman and the referee as well. Certainly Clement Turpin couldn't ignore that. As Chelsea take a short free kick with Reece James down the right-hand side, caught under pressure though, and suddenly it's a chance here for substitute Luis Diaz to get away from N'Golo Kante. He was asking for a yellow card there. Twice he tried to grab Luis Diaz. Gets away with it there, Kante. The ball is out of play for a throw to Porto down the left-hand side. It's picked up now by Otavio. Is it into Sergio Oliveira, now back towards the halfway line for Zaidu Zanussi. He plays it back now towards Chancellor Mbemba. Long ball towards the edge of the area, taken down by Evanilson. Evanilson having to turn away from goal though, still keeping the ball alive here, Evanilson. And going back towards the halfway line. Pressure here from Chelsea. Nanu now in possession for Porto, but no way to get through to goal. Porto are going further and further away from goal, in fact, as Nanu then tries to turn away from Mason Mount. Does he get brought down? The referee says yes, it is going to be a free kick to Porto down the right-hand side. A chance now from the set piece. Meantime, Porto are going to make their 5th and final change here as Sergio Oliveira is going to be going off. And he's replaced by Fabio Vieira. So Fabio Vieira is on now for the final few minutes. So Oliveira is off. That's the final move as far as Sergio Conceição is concerned. No more changes now for Porto. Chelsea still have all 5 of theirs available. As I mentioned, Zuma and Ziyech were ready to come on a couple of minutes ago, so you'd imagine once this set piece is dealt with, we should be seeing a double change here for Chelsea. Short free kick taken. The ball is now whipped in towards the edge of the area, headed on by Mbemba. Bouncing ball inside the 6-yard box, but nobody in a white Porto shirt can get anywhere near that one. It bounces all the way through towards Edouard Mendy. He now waits for his teammates to get further forward. In fact, he doesn't. He just rolls it short to Kante, which might have been a bit of a risk because there were still 4 Porto players at the edge of the area. Chelsea have bailed out a little bit there by a clumsy challenge from Zanussi, which on Reece James, which just slows things down. It just allows Chelsea to have a free kick in a very safe position inside their own half with a few minutes to go. That's precisely what Chelsea need. And Porto will be frustrated having lost the ball. It's a long clearance now from the free kick from Azpilicueta. On the right-hand side, headed back into midfield. Boxing ball now towards the edge of the Porto penalty area. Pepe playing it back towards Marche. Being closed down by Kai Havertz. The ball's up towards the halfway line. Headed down and across towards the left-hand side now for Mason Mount. Under pressure, they're going back towards Jorginho. Back to Mason Mount. Now it's with Kai Havertz. Short ball here towards Ben Chilwell. Is he brought down? In fact, no, it's just gone out for a throw. And throw now to Porto down the right-hand side as they look. In the meantime, we're going to see the first of these two Chelsea changes. I thought Zuma was going to be coming on at the same time, but it is just Hakim Ziyech now coming on for Mason Mount. And Mason Mount just saying a little friendly goodbye there to one of the Porto players, telling him to hurry up and get off the field. Is absolutely, there's no time of day that I could broadcast what Mason Mount just said, but it's just safe to say that he was pretty quick to bite back at his opponent there. Porto, of course, trying to save every second here in the final minutes of this game, but they really have struggled to create anything in front of goal, and the few things they have created really haven't been a problem for Eboab Mendy. Just that one header on target, and that was from around 12 or 13 yards out. But Luis Diaz, he's looked quite busy on that left-hand side since he's come on, just playing a ball back towards Otavio. Now it's with Fabio Vieira out towards the left-hand side now for Zanussi. As Vieira again whips a ball in towards the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away by Thiago Silva. Hakim Ziyech now with his first touch of the ball, going back towards Reece James. And now it's with Pulisic down the right-hand side. But Pulisic's ball is more of a clearance down that right-hand side. He certainly couldn't say it was a pass to Ziyech. It was about 15 yards away from him. And Porto now back in possession. They going out towards the right-hand side. Now back into the middle here for Mateus Uribe. Over towards Nanu. And now Pepe going down the left-hand side. Finding Otavio. Side now towards Luis Diaz. Luis Diaz getting away here from Cesar Azpilicueta. He does well there to get to the edge of the area, but runs straight into Jorginho. He then finds Pulisic. That's a really good turn there from Pulisic. Gets away from his man. He's then brought down. That's a nailed on yellow card there for Luis Diaz. I've had nothing but praise from really since he's come on the field, but that's the first bad things that he's done since he's come on. That was quite a strong challenge on Pulisic as well. We'll see if everything is okay. I mean, first of all, Otavio tried to foul Pulisic and got nowhere near him, even when he tried to drag him back with the arm. And then I suppose Luis Diaz showing Otavio how it's done. But then it's just always, then his legs get tangled with Pulisic as Pulisic was already on the deck. It wasn't a particularly nice challenge there at all from Luis Diaz. Free kick now taken towards the edge of the area. As Chelsea looking to try and keep a bit of possession in attack. The ball now deflects off Nanu as he was trying to clear his lines, and at the angle it did so, it meant that he couldn't quite get back to it. This is great news for Chelsea because the ball actually trickles out for a corner. So as we hit 88 minutes here, independent off-tube studio commentary, Chelsea 0, Porto 0. Chelsea lead 2-0 on aggregate. And there's very little time left now for Porto to try and reverse this result, or try and get close to getting an equaliser, getting a goal in this game. They've not really been that close to beating Mendy at any time, really. But there has been more of an effort from Porto in the second half in terms of the pace of the game, although I would argue that Porto probably had more of the ball in the first half, but weren't really able to do too much with it. Chelsea just looking to try and kill time with a short ball in that corner of the field. But Porto were able to win it back quickly, and Nanu playing it back now towards Chancel Mbemba. Oh, Pepe very nearly getting caught in possession there by Hakim Ziyech, but Porto able to bring the ball out, although Zanussi there plays it too far ahead of himself. He then loses the ball, and now it's a chance for Hakim Ziyech down the right-hand side. He is in an offside position, so that is going to be a free kick to Porto now, still inside their own half. We've got minutes of regulation play still left in this game, plus some injury time. We've got a minute in the first half. We're going to get more in the second half. We've had a couple of injury stoppages. We've had substitutions. I would predict 3 minutes. I'd be surprised if it'd be more than that. Don't think it'd be any less than that either, but we'll wait and see in just a moment. As it is now, it's Mateus Uribe in possession for Porto. That's a square pass to no one in particular. Hakim Ziyech is back, and he wins that for Chelsea. Now it's with Jorginho. Plays it to Kante. Kante under pressure there from three Porto players, still able to spin away and get that ball towards Christian Pulisic, who now definitely gets the award for being the most fouled man on the field. He's been chopped down again, and Mateus Uribe, he deserves a yellow card for that, really. I mean, it wasn't he wasn't stopping a counter-attack or anything like that, but it's just, there's no attempt to play the ball. In fact, there's little contact with Pulisic as well. It's almost the way he collides with Pulisic that then forces Pulisic to sort of trip himself there. It's a long evening for Christian Pulisic. He's been through the wars as the Chelsea man, as Olivier Giroud coming on, and we are going to get 4 minutes of injury time at the end of this game. It's just a minute longer than I was expecting, but we're into that time now. So Olivier Giroud is going to have just under 4 minutes to play here, as the free kick for Chelsea is taken. It's a long ball towards the edge of the area, headed on by Reece James, straight back towards Marche. Clearance now from the goalkeeper, but Taremi there wasn't able to control the ball for Porto. Cleared away by Antonio Rudiger up towards the halfway line, taken down now by Kai Havertz. He plays it to Ben Chilwell. Chilwell carries on his run, gets a quick ball back from Christian Pulisic. Chilwell into the box now, plays it in for Kante. Kante then can't get onto the ball and he trips Mateus Uribe as he tries to stop that ball there getting through to Kante. It is going to be a free kick to Porto. So referee won't allow them to take this quickly because there's going to be this change for Chelsea. But it might be Pulisic going, just tracking Kai Havertz all the way to the touchline there, just to make sure that the Chelsea man doesn't take too long to get off the field. And Giroud is on now for the final one. So as things stand, it will be the PSG going through at the edge of the area by the goalkeeper March to wrap the tie up for Chelsea. I mean, Chelsea is still in a very strong position, and will go through on away goals, which again, even getting 2 goals now when it's 0-0 at the moment. And Chilwell, he clears it towards the halfway line. Chancellor Mbemba lifts the ball in towards the penalty. Oh, what a strike that is! It's an overhead kick, absolutely. It's absolutely sensational. I've probably, as I say, I've seen a few bicycle overhead kicks in my time, but that may be up there. As I say, the one that Rooney scored for United against City was a little bit further out, but there are similarities in terms of how he just picks that ball out from mid-air and gets a little bit of an angle on it to get it right into the corner. Absolutely stunning from Mehdi Taremi. But we've got very little time left now. We've got 15 seconds of injury time still to play, unless the referee's going to add an extra 30 seconds potentially for that goal being scored. We've had the full 4 minutes now, and it's just a case of how long the referee wants to play. But here come Porto again now. Ball play to the edge of the area as a player hits the deck. It's Evanilson hits the deck inside the penalty area. He's rolling around. Referee says Well, no, I thought the referee was going to call time there, but he hasn't called time. He's actually booked a Porto player for arguing too much about the fact that a penalty wasn't given, and the goal scorer there, Mehdi Taremi. I mean, there's a bit of a risk there from Antonio Rudiger, because if Anilson gets into the box and Rudiger sort of grabs him by the waist, but to say that's enough for a penalty, I think would be very, very harsh. But they can show us this replay 10 times again if they like. It's the goal from Taremi. He's actually hits it more with his shin than with his boot, but have taken nothing away. It's fantastic from Mehdi Taremi to get that ball into the back of the net. And as I say, it might just be too little too late for Porto now. It's a free kick to Chelsea. We've had a full 5 minutes of injury time now. So really it should just be seconds now. With Chelsea on the attack as well, there probably won't be enough time for Porto to do anything else. The referee has called time, and it's all over here at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Chelsea looked comfortable for most of this game until the final seconds when Porto got a goal, just to make things a little bit more tense. Substitute Taremi getting on the score sheet. But it's all over here. Chelsea are through 2-1 on aggregate. And in the other game, it's just finished as well, with PSG losing on the night. But they go through on away goals. But that's it for this